This is Weekend Deal on the Nigerian Television Authority on the network service and of course across all NTA stations. I want to say a big thank you to Innovate Hub for the beautiful display you see there at the head of all the other beautiful displays. And that is not all. Recently, it was time for the TED Fund Alliance for Innovative Research, popularly called TED Fair. Capsy was there, and she brings us all the juicy and interesting details. Sit back, relax, and learn.
The conceptualization of this innovation happened with my other team members, and this was due to the excessive maternal and child death that happens in the rural northern Nigeria, where you have lack of electricity in the primary healthcare centers, where the vulnerables go for either childbirth or taking their children to these primary healthcare centers, and due to lack of electricity, they are not properly taken care of. So this innovation is a vertical axis wind turbine system that generates electricity 24 hours. When you have wind in your axis, you can just place this innovation on a rooftop, and the moment the blades turn, you have constant electricity.
Orufe is a shredder for shredding abacha, shredding cooked or uncooked cassava that is used in making abacha. So here we have the machine that does the shredding. It works with spinning a disc that has two different blades. We have the blade that slices the cassava and the blades that does the shredding, that cuts it in bits. So it comes out and is dried. So if it's dried, it's packaged this way and it can be sold this way.
For TED Fair 567, which comprises of innovators from the university, polytechnics, and colleges of education, they developed 11 prototypes, and I'm proud to also announce that all patent certificates are ready.
TED Fund will be, and we have been at the forefront of finding those solutions and supporting endeavors that bring us to that. As a result, it has become imperative for us to adopt a more sustainable approach that is rooted in science, technology, and innovation. This paradigm shift is essential to bridge the existing knowledge gaps, the application of knowledge, and the commercialization of research outcomes capable of addressing Nigeria's development concerns. In today's rapidly evolving global environment, innovative and problem-solving research is imperative as a critical driver of economic competitiveness, our societal progress, and national development.
She was here just dancing and screaming. I'm beginning to wonder between Davido and Osime what's going to happen in this studio, because for those two guys. Anyways, today is about personal safety and security, and we are paying a special attention to one chance, and that's because so many Nigerian families have been traumatized, communities have been left on edge because of the incidences of one chance in our society. What exactly is one chance, and who can be a victim? Splendor with a story, one right gone wrong, will be telling us. Okay, my director just told me Jane will be telling us with her real life stories, not Splendor for now. Jane, take it away.
In the hustle and bustle of Nigeria's city, thousands step out daily, chasing work, dreams and survival. But in the midst of this movement lies a nightmare hidden in plain sight. It is called one chance. Criminals disguised as transport operators, bus drivers, taxi men, or ride-hailing agents lure unsuspecting passengers in. It is a ride that begins like any other, but could end in fear, violence, or loss. Once the doors close, the terror begins.
I stood at a bus stop within the city of Abuja, and lo and behold, there was another guy standing, and as usual, it's a normal thing we do whenever you want to enter vehicle, only to discover that that same guy that entered with me was part of the deal. For themselves one chance to say. And after a few seconds, I saw a facial expression of that particular young guy that entered with me. And at that point in time, I felt something and I said, I am in a wrong vehicle.
Stories like hers echo across Lagos, Abuja, and other cities. Tales of quick abduction, forced withdrawals at ATMs, beatings, and psychological scars that last a lifetime. For many victims, escape comes only by luck or courage.
It's actually not an experience anybody wants to recall. It's traumatizing, first of all. It takes away from you. But, well, experiences, they say, are best teachers.
Behind every one chance attack is an organized network. Drivers, sporters, and cash handlers. They prey on the vulnerable, late commuters, lone passengers, or those unfamiliar with city's routes. ATMs and POS agents often become tools in their chain of exploitation.
If you're going to enter a car, you should be able to look at the plate number back and front. If they have a plate number, then look at the people who are already inside the car. Or if you are in the car, those who are now coming to enter the car, what are the kind of conversations they are now discussing, so that we'll be able to give you an insight. In fact, in some cases, you have a right to ask. You should see their boat, because there are cases where some of them, they hide inside the boat with a weapon. As soon as you get inside and the car took off, then the person will now come out and collect your belongings and throw you out of the car.
First, you should identify parks. Identify parks and use park. In park, most of the cars are registered. 2, you should identify cars where they always rush along the road. They're always in haste to carry passengers. Then they do like saying the rush goes somewhere. You can't do rush, you go be prey to them.
Experts say unemployment and corruption have turned these criminals into a business, one feeding off urban poverty and desperation.
There are many parameters why people go into crime. There are many numbers of youth who want to be gainfully employed, but the jobs are not there. Then some of those ones can easily move into thinking that crime is going to benefit.
Beyond the stolen money or broken bones lies something deeper. Fear. Fear of strangers, fear of a city that once felt like home. How did a simple ride turn into a battle for survival?
Jane, many thanks. That was quite in-depth, and in a way it feels so good to see our sisters in good health. Good a thing the NTA family rallied, when a trauma and a challenge struck, and thank God our sisters are doing very well now. That is not an experience that anyone even wishes for your worst enemy, if at all you have any. Well, as busy as Kapsi was, she also went out on the streets to learn a bit more. This one chance people, do they have two heads? Why are they still persistent? This is a terrible, terrible thing. Kapsi, what's up? What did you find?
Share your experience about one chance people and the strategy we think we can avoid while boarding a car?
Okay, it was on a fateful day. I got into a taxi from my junction. That's Kagini Junction at Kubwa. People that know Kagini. So from there, a lady was at the front of the car and two guys at the back. I was the third person that got into the car. And in that process, when we were driving, a few minutes or few seconds, they just locked the car, wind up the glass. Like that. And what I would advise the community to do about before boarding into a taxi is be careful, be very, very careful, because I know that it's not easy to identify the one chance people, but just be careful and be observant.
For you to avoid one chance, there are certain things you need to observe while trying to align a vehicle. Number one, you don't align a vehicle in a place where it is on mark. When I mean on mark, there are places where vehicles are supposed to pick passenger and things like that. So that is number one. Then number two, when you notice a vehicle that does not actually have a particular price, he's telling you how much you want to pay. So you should also know that this is not a regular driver that applied this road. So all of these are signs for you to take precaution seriously.
I boarded the car and then I entered, and immediately I entered, the other lady started talking about having her bag in the boot and she wants to get down. Then the driver was like, okay, so she has something in the boot. He just started ranting and yelling at her that, it's very dangerous for her carrying that thing, putting in his car. What if the police stops him? She was like, no, she traveled from Kano, blah, blah, blah. She just started telling us her life story. I did not say anything as they were talking. Then others say, no, it's very dangerous. People might, whatever is going on might attract people. So we should go somewhere safe to share the money. Then someone, the other lady volunteered that we should go to her house to share the money. The reason I didn't drop was because I thought they were driving towards Nyanya. So my plan was when they get to Nyanya, I would drop and tell them, me and her. So I did not even know when they cornered to Banex, truth be told. I thought we're still going towards Nyanya. They don't corner to Banex. And I told them, driver, I want to drop here. That was when all of them were like, this thing no enter this girl. They just turned and looked at me. And then I did not even notice that there were policemen in front. They got scared, I guess, because of the police they saw. So they dropped me. And I did not even get out of the car. They just zoomed off.
Number one thing is that you should avoid entering motor along the road. Yes, you have to be very, very careful of entering motor along the road. And secondly, before you enter any vehicle on the road, you need to observe those who are in the vehicle, that is the person at the front seat and the back seat. Because at times, you see a lady at the front, two men at the back. So on the process of entering the vehicle, one might come down for you to be in the middle. So as long as you're in the middle, they won't pick anyone, they won't pick anybody along the road again. You'll be the only one they'll pick. And you won't even understand that, okay, this is their plan.
There was a time I ordered a ride online. So when it read me, I was like, the plate number wasn't corresponding. It was a two different plate number. So luckily for me, I had to check very well before entering. I noticed it. Meanwhile, asking the cab guy, he was like, that he just recently changed his vehicle, that he has not changed it online. I was not like, no, it's not done that way. Even if you bought a new vehicle, you should actually change it on the app so that people will know that this is actually your vehicle. That's how they kidnap people. So that's my bit experience. Another one, we need to be security conscious, because most vehicles now, when you enter inside, before you enter, first check its number. Then when seated, check the handle of the door. Because most people, they have tampered with the handle that once you sit down, it's broken. You can't open it from inside.
Nice one there, Kamsi. Your views from the street has further enriched our package today. We're talking about personal safety and this challenge of one chance. And it's not only in the FCT. From what we hear, reliably, it's happening in different parts of the nation. Good Athena, our experts are here to give us the expert knowledge, because obviously there's something we are missing. We often say your prayers, we often say that sixth sense, but is there more in terms of what you should look out for, what you should do to stay vigilant? So let's meet our guest, Dr. Kabir Adam, who is the Managing Director, Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited. Of course, it's a familiar face and a familiar name. His profile is now.
Dr. Welcome to Weekend Deal.
I know. The pleasure is actually mine.
It's a shared pleasure.
Okay, he's not alone. We have another guest. He is Comrade Wim James, the National Financial Secretary, National Union of Road Transport Workers, former State Chairman at Akwa Ibom State, former Zonal Chairman, and a graduate of Public Administration. Sir, you're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you.
Okay. Today we're talking personal safety and security. We all know that it is one of the most important things for us as human beings. I'll start with you, Dr. Ademo. One chance in Nigeria. You hear it again. I mean, recently my heart was broken when a bride to be, 1 week to her wedding, she went out for shopping and she returned dead. If that's the way to put it, yes. She entered one chance, they pushed her out and she died. What can Nigerians look out for?
So a couple of things. One chance, the vehicles, as it were, that have turned into criminal centers. So in other words, the crime is committed in the vehicle. And so in normal criminology, one of the things you will look out for is the location of the crime. So in this instance, it is the vehicle. So how can you avoid exposing yourself to a vehicle that type of crime can occur? The most, I think, simple advice would be go to a registered park. Okay. Because parks have systems in place to reduce the possibility of one chance perpetrators, patronizing them or using them. As an example, they would have registered their drivers, they would have registered their vehicles, they would have probably profiled the drivers to know who they are, to know what they do. So even if, God forbid, a registered vehicle within a park commits one chance, it can be traced. And then the necessary actions taken against the driver. He can be, arrested. He can be prosecuted. But where you just stay by the roadside and you flag down a vehicle, number one, you are exposing yourself, because at that point, honestly, you are at the mercy of God. The likelihood of that driver and the vehicle becoming a crime scene is extremely high. Of course, the other one are all these hail cab vehicles. Yeah. Those ones too are reasonably reliable because they've been profiled. Their drivers are registered too, even though they still have a risk. Because unfortunately, over time, the know your customer KYC component that should have been done by those hail cabs and is not being done adequately. So your best bet is to go to a registered park. Of course, next to that is this hail cab services.
For T, I know you're itching to try to ask questions, but I want to say something because you're a security expert. Some of the experiences we hear from these victims is the fact that they go from ATMs to withdraw money. Is there nothing put in that system for an alert to say, why is this person continuously, from 180? Is there nothing put? Because it's funny. Our colleague Susan was taking all around the whole Abuja, and she was withdrawing from ATM to ATM, and still, is there anything we can do?
As you know, I run a firm, and we sometimes get cases like this that we try to help. The most ridiculous one I've had is actually a diplomat who was accosted somewhere in Jabi, and then they entered his vehicle. I think there were 2 or 3 in the vehicle, went to the Transcorp Hilton. You know how the security posture of Transcorp Hilton went there and used the ATM in Transcorp Hilton to withdraw money. And they succeeded. Back to your question. Technically, all ATMs are supposed to have cameras.
Yes.
And apart from cameras, there are digital traces. For instance, if you withdraw money, first, the camera would have captured you. Secondly, if the bank is interested, of course, with a court warrant or some form of documentation from the security agencies, who withdraw that money, at the time the person withdraw that money can be traced. So, but again, this is Nigeria. Unfortunately, we've dropped the ball in some of those things. I can tell you with all confidence that there are certain ATM machines that don't even have camera, or even where they have cameras, those cameras are not working. The second part is the monitoring capability. Of course, if a pattern is established where cash is being withdrawn, it should raise the concern. And I think there are banks that are doing better than others. There's a particular bank, I mean, I don't have accounts in a lot of banks, but there is one of the banks that I use. If I make the mistake of putting my PIN number once, believe me, I get a call immediately from them. But then there are other banks that I've used that, I mean, even if you try to reach them, it will be difficult to reach them. So I think there is that regulatory gap that is not enforcing the requirements. The requirements are there, I must tell you. I think one of them is that there must be a functional camera in those. So if all of these things are being implemented, it would definitely help reduce what you've just described. Okay. The second element is that, of course, you can trigger if you are in distress. Most banks have telephone numbers. If you are in distress, you can call them and they can automatically and immediately block, that account number. But the challenge is this: the person who is accosted, who is facing one chance, would usually not have access to his or her phone. So it will be after the event that the person can probably make that call.
I was just going to mention that, Dr. Adamu, even when they have access to a phone, you've just had the traumatic experience, getting yourself together. You may even forget the number of your spouse or your child or your family member at that time. But of course, it's good advice. There are also incidents where the cameras were there. The evidence was there. They accessed the video, but the traumatized customer did not get their resources back. Yes, eventually. At that point, we often say, thank God that
you are alive.
Friends and family are always willing to bring up what is required as far as the family member is safe. Okay, let's look to these vehicles now, because it's not when they are pedestrians or when they are on the streets that these things happen. They are seated in a vehicle and the vehicle is on the move oftentimes. So security expert has spoken. Mr. James, you are here in your capacity as the national officer of the NURTW, also representing MC Olomo, who is the president of the NURTW. Please extend our greetings to him, and it was great of you to make it. Yes. These vehicles now, how is your association putting checks and balances to know who is driving what and what they do on a daily basis? We know that they have routes and they have car parks. So where's the gap?
Thank you, Madam.
Thelma.
Okay.
We are so young, we are not
Thank you. Thank you. It's really a situation we are having when it comes to this issue of one chance and safety, personal safety, the transportation sector, commuting from place to place. For us, we look at it that, safety is a function of orderliness. And orderliness is the ability to make necessary rules, reasonable rules, and obey them. So now in this situation, whose responsibility is it to make these rules, to regulate the system, who is carrying who, people especially in the city. One chance can hardly happen in a village setting or a very local setting. It happens in highbrow cities, at the state capitals, and for any commuter that comes into the state capital or a city must have had the leverage of communication, ICT, phone, and all the other things like that. We should know it should be a little digitalized. Now, looking at the aspect of who should regulate, we have a situation between, you see, the expectation of the society on the National Union of Road Transport Workers might be a little higher than what is available. Because the union is a trade union. And you see, take a trade union, even the union of journalists as we are here, the teachers, union of teachers, union of nurses, all the unions. What is the responsibility of a union? Is to gather for the welfare of the members.
Yes.
But in the road transport sector, we have a NURTW, which is practically a private sector core, operational union. The responsibility now shifts from managing, catering for the well-being of members to checking what is happening in the society, operations. That is why we are here now talking about what can the union do to check these kind of issues in the city. So the issue is, who should have regulated who should drive a taxi in a city? Who should carry somebody? Is it a rocket science that...
Sorry, just a minute, Mr. Wham. Are you saying we unburden you totally as an association because you are employing drivers? You don't check their credentials, you don't check who they are, what they have done.
The road safety has their own work, the VIO, the others.
They have. No, we didn't mention driving license yet.
The government, you say employing, for a driver to be qualified.
No, don't you check?
For a driver to be qualified.
He has to have a driving license.
He has a driver's license. That's where I'm coming to.
Okay.
The law, the regulation.
Yes.
To go straight to the point is, you see, in the 1999 Constitution, the Constitution recognized the local government councils to establish, maintain, and regulate motor parks.
Absolutely.
But inside that motor park, the Constitution, I think Section D, also precludes the government, that is local government or state government, like in the FCT, where state government builds the motor parks, from regulating anything mechanically propelled.
Oh.
That is any motorcycle, anything with engine. Car, keke, minibuses, tricycle, buses.
You're precluded from doing that.
Yeah. And they are not supposed to regulate. So now you see in the motor park or in the town, in the city, who regulates these persons that are operating automobile, mechanically propelled? So the only thing you have there as per something close to regulation activities or what issues is the National Union of Road Transport Workers. And this National Union of Road Transport Workers, the only backup law you have is the Trade Union Act, which we know, only stating that our jurisdictional scope covers all persons engaged in transportation of passengers and goods by road.
Hey.
You understand? So now, in a city, you as the road transport worker, you have the responsibility of catering for your members. You now have a responsibility of regulating the operations. You have the local government, you have the state government, where because the government, they will not come, they appoint consultant, contractors, people who will now come in, as I will call them interlopers, to regulate that system. Remember, the law is not really giving them the leverage to regulate. But they want to forcefully regulate. And how do they regulate? Okay, like in Abuja here, you have AMAC or whatever, people operating task force under the state, the government.
Yes, the local government.
Which one is easier? The NURTW now has its tentacles at the unit, motor parks, unit. So every commercial driver operating taxi, tricycle, bus, or whatever in the city, if it is to be properly regulated, should be known Because everybody should be known by somebody.
Yes.
Before a driver would have taken his vehicle to the road to operate, he must have known, registered in a unit or a branch. Somebody in the unit, the executive of the leadership of the union and the unit must have known this person. The branch would have known the person, the state council, and then the national where we are.
I know that's your
which
aim.
we wouldn't know.
I know that's your aim, Mr. Awem. You know, it has been a long story. It's a bit convoluted somehow. Let us get more clarity. Because you know what I asked you? You've established that there's a gap. But you are aware that the gap is causing challenges.
Yes.
Has your union done anything thus far? Where are we now?
Certainly the fact is that the government should, rather than overlapping to set task forces to try to regulate or monitor the commercial transportation activities, should collaborate with the union to strengthen the union, because the union has the facility, the manpower, the structure already. Unit, branches, you know, everywhere. Because if somebody in the capital city task force is regulating a driver, how will he know this driver? You know, if you are now like the union now, the task force goes on checking. Maybe a driver is suspected. The first question would have been, where are you operating from? And that driver should have been able to know where he's operating from. I'm operating from AYA. I'm operating from Area 1. I'm operating from Kubwa. And in that Kubwa, maybe a call is put across. There's a branch chairman. There are branch officers. There are unit people. They should know that driver. So it's not a very difficult thing. But you see, when the responsibility of checking whoever is operating is not on the union, is now on somebody else, that person is only interested in the enforcement.
So it's not well apportioned.
It's not well apportioned.
But are you sitting back and watching your association, your union, as you watch? Have you made any moves to see how you can merge things in? Because people's lives are at stake. You knew this challenge before we started this conversation today, and you are seeing that the one chance thing is gaining, what is it called, nationwide. You knew that there's a challenge, or your association is aware that there's a gap. What moves are being made? What can be done now? Because it's lives we're talking about that are being lost almost on a daily basis.
The union has been trying its best in areas of, like intercity transportation. The union already established like the issues of passengers, commuters manifest, where every individual who enters a vehicle the data or details must be, taken, the drivers must be known, and somebody must have to go to the appropriate recognized motor parks. So those are things, and we are collaborating even as of now with the security agencies to go digital, to digitalize those operations so that it will be real time and won't be paperwork.
Thank you so much, Mr. James. I mean, Dr. Demo, I have so much questions for you, but Mr. James, I want to say that I'm feeling a certain way after your response, because I don't know how soon it will be Uhuru, how soon we are going to celebrate that the Road Transport Worker Union is holding their own end of the bargain. But hold it. You're looking at me in a certain way. Why? Hold it. We'll go on the break. When we come back, our conversation will continue. It is Weekend Deal, your favorite weekend show on TV.
That will be seeing more of Temi Samuel in this December month.
Abby.
You know, everywhere there's jollificating, like we say in local parlance, Temi Samuel should be
I
invited.
like him? He wants to know what makes us sad. And what makes us sad is lack of money. So Temi Samuel, be ready. I've told you my own up front. I'm not going to pretend about it.
Please, Temi came to make you dance and be happy.
He asked a question.
He
asked a question. We want to know what makes me sad.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Temi. Thank you, Temi. That was amazing. And you know what I like? He is focusing on Nigerian artists. That means, he's looking into what's making them tick. And Temi too, you're going to tick.
Amen.
Nice. Okay, let me talk to you, Doctor. Let me let Mr. Awem James breathe. Mr. Awem, let them not bother you again for now. Let me go to, I will let patients take the part 2. Let me go to Dr. Kabir. Dr. Kabir, you know why this is very important at this time? We've entered the Ember months. From September, people began to move out with caution. And amidst all the normal cautions we take, like saying our prayers, listen to the sixth sense, call somebody, look at the car very well, check the number, take picture of the number plate, we still know that those fraudulent group of people are planning a lot, especially for this December month, which for them, some say is the grand finale. But we are going to surprise them with the amazing tips you are going to give us, Dr. Kabir. Not all of us are security analysts, but I know there are things you can tell us that we can arm ourselves with and spread the gist nationwide that will, those people, they will go hungry if they will not do legit work. Tell us more.
Awesome. So, I'll approach it from two levels. Number one, the regulatory advice, because there is somebody responsible for transportation. And I want to emphasize the importance of transportation in our lives. We're here, all of us, partly because of transportation. We did not wake up here.
Yes.
It was transportation that brought us here.
Absolutely.
Some of us have our personal cars, others rely on commercial vehicles. So that's how important. And thank God we have a Ministry of Transportation in the country. If you are looking at it at the federal level, there is a federal ministry. At the level of FCTA, there is a department that is responsible for transportation. So my advice is to these two arms. In terms of their regulatory component, they need to make sure that every commercial vehicle on our road is registered and that they know the profile of that driver. And more importantly, that they know that vehicle. In today's world, because first off, you have to register your vehicle. There must be a plate number on that vehicle. And there is even technology by both VIO and Federal Road Safety Corps. All they need to do is put that technology on your plate number and everything about you comes up. So we need to make sure that technology is available to everybody who has
a long-term plan.
No, not really.
It can be done before
really.
December.
How much do we pay for registering our license? It has increased.
Yes.
And that technology is not so expensive. Put 20 young people in a room. Believe me, you'll be amazed at what they can come up with.
In a week?
And another thing that sometimes I marvel at the way we do things in Nigeria. There is the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. Some of these things we don't have to go to South Africa or India or China to bring them. That ministry can actually help us. NIDA can play that role. So from that regulatory point of view, the responsibility is purely theirs. My co-discussant has explained to us how they are a union. So they don't have that regulatory responsibility. It is the regulatory agency. But then I'm not absolving them completely. I'm sure when you come to discuss with him, you would mention. Now for us as Nigerians who patronize or use these vehicles, number one is, as best as possible, restrict yourself to using parks. Where you can't use parks, then please use hail cabs.
Hail cabs, yeah.
In the minimum, and there are so many in today's world. So by doing this, you've reduced significantly your risk. You've not eliminated it, but you've reduced the risk. If for any reason you can't use these two and you have to go out and just wave a taxi down, then please take certain precautions. And I was very happy when I was listening to Words from the Street. I think that's what it was called. All those tips that were mentioned there about being vigilant. In security, we have what we call 3 A's. Awareness leads to anticipation and then leads to action. And I must thank you for the awareness you are raising.
Thank you.
Anyone listening to this has been informed. Now, if you decide to now jettison all the advice that you've been given and you behave illogically, because the average human being is logical.
Yeah.
If you've been told there is danger, that's where the awareness starts. You should anticipate that danger can happen to you. In other words, avoid as much as possible going to wave a taxi on the street. Because again, I want to say, at that point, honestly, you are at the mercy of God and that criminal. The possibility that the taxi you waved is a criminal, and anything could happen after that is extremely high. So that's, you are aware, you've anticipated. The last point is that you take action to avoid the consequence of that. And how do you take action? We've recommended either going to parks or hill cabs. But then if you have to, and you've entered the vehicle at that point in B. Some of the tips given, take note of the plate number of that vehicle, where you can even snap it, and like we all say, even if it's pretend, but don't even pretend, send it to a loved one. And if you have a smartphone, please activate your location. Even if you are involved in extracurricular activities, which I don't want to go into.
Yeah, but activate your location,
activate
really.
your location. Because what it would do is, God forbid, if for any reason we're looking for you, that location can help. And in today's world, most mobile devices do have that option. And so even if it's a smartwatch that you have activated on it. So these are some of the tips, but there are a lot more that we can talk about.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Kabir.
Thank you so much. Our messages are coming in fast. We're going to ETV after this, but let me just read this so that you'll be thinking about it. It says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nice topic in view of the insecurity situation across the country today. My suggestion is in respect of withdrawal from ATM under duress. Can the banks explore the possibility of incorporating a distress button on the ATM to enable the victim of one chance to trigger unusual withdrawals and possibly block the account for withdrawals until the account owner's intervention? This is from Mr. Obianu, Abuja. NTA TVE will be just what you said?
TVC.
Okay, NTA TVC will be joining the conversation now. Take it away.
In the shadows of Nigeria's urban landscape, a silent network thrives. The wheelbarrow pushers transport goods, facilitate trade, and keep our markets alive. It's hard work, but it's a living. Despite facing numerous challenges on the road, they persevere. Regrettably, some wheelbarrow pushers have been linked to criminal networks serving as informants. They provide crucial information to robbers, targeting wealthy traders and individuals. The Weekend Deal team attempted to engage with authorities, seeking solutions to curb this trend and protect communities. Unfortunately, our efforts proved abortive. In many robbery cases, criminals rely on local informants. These silent watchers study routines, mark targets, and move in and out of neighborhoods using simple signals to set crime in motion.
For example, not far, about 2 or 3 months ago, when you get to the front of your shop, without anybody suspecting them, there are people passing by. We thought that maybe they are buyers, they wanted to buy something, but they will point gun at you without anybody noticing that. Only you will know that these are what we are doing. And what they will do is this: all the money you have made since morning, you give unto them, and they will run away with it. We are able to apprehend 2 or 3 of them last week. Also, we tried to rob a building material trader. So some of them will be inside and they will be operating outside.
However, it was gathered that some Nigerian states, particularly Lagos, have already taken steps to regulate wheelbarrow operations due to environmental concerns and security threats.
In our area, and just as you mentioned regarding to those cart pusher, we call it truck pusher, I know some of them, not every of them, some of them, they have evil motive. So when we see some suspicious movement like that, we try to put our light in everywhere. But we have found it totally.
As you know, they are all in our community, they are within us. So, and we cannot just chase them away completely, because some of them are looking for their daily bread. Without doing that job, they won't be able to eat. But we monitor every movement. We have our teams, we have our security people to monitor the movement of the people in and out. And all of us have our neighbor keeper. When I notice something, I call you. We have a very good network in this community.
The issue of wheelbarrow pushers allegedly serving as informants to robbers is a concern that needs attention. It's a reminder that insecurity often hides in plain sight. On the streets we walk, in the faces we overlook, and then the trust we readily extend. That's why it's crucial
for everyone to remain vigilant and collaborate towards building safer communities.
Many thanks, NTA TVC, and we keep hearing that word like ETV. We keep hearing that word like a recurring decimal. They say stay vigilant. And Dr. Kabir has already advised us that we should be intentional about our safety and take every precaution necessary. Mr. Wham, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Fine.
Great. We are very, very excited that you're here with us. And if we want to leverage on our conversation we had in the past, we want to take it to another direction where each patriot, every Nigerian is a patriot, you know, and we know that anything we can do using our office as an individual, as a collective, to ensure that we bring safety or its measures to our people, we often avail ourselves of it. So I've asked Dr. Kabir, this is the final Ember month we're entering now, December. With what we have seen for September, October, November, what are your expectations? We do not want to say that those mischievous people will up their game, but perchance they do. What are you and your team on the lookout for? And how are you planning to nip any mischief in the board wait to happen nationwide?
For sure, like I said, when it comes to this insecurity and safety issues, I think in the major motor parks, we are doing our best. You will hardly hear of these, happenings of cases like that from the motor parks where the NURTW is definitely actually in charge. And on the road, yes, we talk about the flagging down taxis. We don't have option because there is always what we call along.
Yes.
There must be along. People must move from one street to
the other.
Another. And at certain designated areas, like what we call bus stops, or have as bus stop or stopping point, loading point, the NURTW officers are there, and they work. They do well identifying vehicles, knowing who is passing through and all that. But like when it comes to this festive period, we up our game as well. Sometimes we have the, what do you call them, the monitoring team who goes around town, maybe basically in uniform. Some in uniform. We also have some persons who now looks and identify maybe taxis that are suspicious. And then we can bring in, maybe report them to the police, take the numbers, report to police, or report to the next stopping point or, motor parks, so that such drivers could be accosted and ask questions. Where they are genuine, would they have proper registration, no problem, but where they are not, we see that. So, you see, our challenge is still that we need to be supported, actually supported by the regulatory or the government authorities, so that in generality we should know whoever is operating a taxi within a city.
But can I ask you something? How do you brand your drivers and your cars? And when we're younger, there will be a sign to show that this person is a member of the NURTW. Is this still prevalent?
That is the issue I'm talking about.
Okay.
In some states, we have had collaboration with state government where all commercially operated taxis, tricycle, what are painted
a particular color.
A particular color. There are states like that. Some you have where they have bold numbers, identification numbers, who are, if you key in that number, you find them digitally and you know them. You have their data. So, but in some places where you have, like I still say in like the federal capital, the capital city here, it's large, it's massive. So, for me, basically, what we need now, even at this point, is cooperation between the capital city authority and the union operators, so that where the union has covered, where we have covered the known areas, the other areas that is not, the larger, where you have people coming in, infiltrators, we can check them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's so many issues. Somebody just wrote here that what happens to a man who is leaving work and decides to pick passengers to help himself? I mean, who monitors him? So a lot of questions and a lot of issues are coming up. But I am a self-acclaimed big sister of NTA, and she's ready with food and nutrition. NTA.
There we have
Always a pleasure to see you and learn about food and nutrition and how to eat to stay well. Already, Patience promised us some catfish, some salmon, and the rest. And of course, I've already called Chef Sam to get ready to prepare this delicacy. Perhaps we'll enjoy it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Yinka Adegboyega, who is our director for this show, also been doing some work. He said, I know I'm going to direct, but this thing concerns me. It concerns all of us. What can I do to add value? And this, what you're about to see now, is the result. Yinka, share, please.
Security is a day-to-day activity in your house. The way your son behaves, if you keep quiet, if it is bad, it will bring insecurity into your house, into your family. So the parents must sit up to tell their children what is right and what is wrong. Tell their children how to behave. There are people in the house. Immediately they hear kokoko at the door. A child of 2-3 years will want to jump to open the door. A parent should be able to teach the child, look, you are not supposed to near the door because you don't know who is coming in. Let them know that insecurity is real. And on day-to-day activity, they teach them that. You're supposed to have an adult that will come in and check and go back. I want everybody, I want every community, I want all traditional rulers to take care of their kingdom. Man your kingdom. If you see a strange face coming into the kingdom, especially, God has given us that discerning spirit to see something and know how it is. If you see some people coming into your community and you're suspecting them, call the police. Even if you don't have strong vigilante, let them check those people. Nobody can attack a community without going through that community, learning them like you read books, know their weak points, know the kind of things they have and their outlets. So once you see somebody you don't know in your community and has no good intention, you will know. There's nothing wrong. Stop the person. Sorry, sir. I am a vigilante. Who are you? And why are you here? And he will tell you, look, I'm going to do this. You investigate the person and that's all. If the person know that anytime they come to this place, this is what they will see, they wouldn't bother your community again. Be suspicious about everybody you come across. Don't overlook the issue. I said, he's a human being, nothing happening. I want everybody to be suspicious of everybody.
Security or sharing of your environment is everybody's business. You must be very much alert to see something and say something. That's all that is. If you see anything that can disturb your own security and the security of your environment, either you take action immediately, if you can, or you report appropriately. As Africans or as Nigerians, we have the culture, natural one, of loving our neighbors, caring for our neighbors. Not going to beat our neighbor or kill our neighbor or steal our, no. Caring. We want to see a society whereby everybody should be very much alert now. When you see things going wrong, if you cannot handle it, you cannot do something on it, you report it. So that everybody will be very much aware. And we need a lot of propaganda on all our spheres of life, especially in our churches, in our mosques, anywhere we gather. Collectively as human beings, we continue to propagate out of living well, out of discipline, out of following the norms, natural.
We have so many messages here, and our friend Mohammed Isa Okat and Kerefe from Kogi State has given us a long list of what we can do to keep safe, from personal safety in Nigeria to major safety risks. He's talked about daily safety strategies and tools. It's a whole masterclass here on the iPad. Thank you so much. We would be looking at it. Okay, another person said, good morning, what an amazing show, so right for the season. Thank you so much. Somebody also said, good morning, my beautiful daughters. You're looking stunning this morning. Today I'm reading it with one panache. It's Tariq Glam Squad. I keep telling you guys, thank you so much, ma. I'm always on alert because I have experienced a lot of crisis from Plateau State. Aisha, Grandma, God bless you. Thank you so much. We love you, Grandma. And then, oh God, an amazing show. I cannot take my eyes off the TV. Oh, thank you so much. So this says, thank you so much. God bless NTA for every weekend making our weekend special. One just said, I love this show from Yemisi in Jakpo Estate, Akure. Yemisi, we love you right back. Sule is here with the papers. Sule.
Hi, ladies, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. And of course, let's get straight to the papers, and we're starting with the Weekend Trust. Okay, now, police for hire. Of course, we have a security expert in the studio, and it was quite refreshing for a lot of Nigerians when on the 23rd of November, the president gave a directive that the police, there should be a total withdrawal from police escorting or attached to the VIPs. What were your thoughts about that?
Quite novel. One of the challenges within the police is the inadequate manpower, and if they are going to free up this number, there are reports that have estimated the number to be 100,000, which is huge. Yes,
that's huge.
A recent report by an European Commission on Asylum or something like that, you know, after they did a survey, came up with that number, 100,000. But then the Inspector General of Police 2 days ago did indicate that, according to his record, what they've been able to establish is 11,000.
11,000?
11,000.
That is huge to me.
Yeah, but then I also have this message for the IG. That's at the federal level. We know that every commissioner of police also has his own arrangement. DPOs also have their own arrangement. So by the time he goes down to the commissioners, to the DPOs, the number may increase to 50,000 or even the 100,000 that we're talking about. So yes, it will help, definitely.
Definitely. All right. So now the next one says, meat, vegetables are foods, are poison. Details of that can be found on page 11. Now, let's cross over to Leadership Weekend. We start with story just above the masthead. Guinea-Bissau incident, not a coup, says Jonathan. Details of that on page 7. Taraba declares state of emergency on infrastructure, human services. Details on page 15. Now to the leading story. Renewed attacks. Experts call for good governance to end insurgency. Military well-equipped to wipe out terrorists, says Major Banjo. Opposition parties' leaders allowed Tinubu over KB schoolgirls' quick release. Details of all this can be found on page 4. Now, Shetima Atiku governors, others attend Sheikh Tahiru Bauchi's funeral. Details of that can be found on page 6. Now, our faith remains unshaken despite attack, abduction of church members. Kwara CAC pastor, details of that on page 26. All right, Nigeria becomes 7th ECOWAS state to launch on a unified biometric identity card. Details of that on page 6. Now to The Guardian. Okay. We go straight to the leading story. As Yuletide beckons, motorists, commuters agonize over deplorable interstate roads. Details of that on pages 8 and 9. Nigerians spent 21.8 trillion naira on petrol in 12 months. Details of that on page 2. Enough of lip service to state police. World Health Organization, UNAIDS, urge renewed commitment to end HIV in Africa. Details of that are on page 3. Nigeria doesn't violate religious freedom. Federal government insists nation battling worsening terrorism. Banana Island property. Bunza accuses NDIC of intimidation, vows to seek legal redress. Details of that on page 3. Now to blueprints. We start with the story just above the masthead and is still on insecurity. Federal government moves against cross-border crimes, unveils ECOWAS biometric card, set to introduce single travel emergency passport January. Details of that are on page 10. And on their series of the unforgettable heroes, this weekend you read about Ahmed Gulag. I'm sure if you turn to page 23, you will see that story. Now to the leading story, underage gambling. Experts warn on harmful consequences as cases soar. My friends lured me into it, says a teenager. Only 18 years and above are eligible, the expert. It's difficult to differentiate among 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Operator, there should be strict compliance with age verification, says NGO. Details of all this can be found on pages 8 and 9. Now, this is a real concern in Nigeria now when we talk about gambling. And it's almost like wherever, even if you go to the remotest village in Nigeria, you see element of that. And in as much as it's allowed, there must be caution attached to this, because some people are really going through some difficult time now trying to deal with this.
Because some people are addicted.
Addiction.
And good thing, we're talking with a lady yesterday, and there's so much being done for addicts. She says we should not stigmatize them. That is not because they are careless or morally bankrupt. That is she called it a disease. And as
The
people
dopamine that comes
people are
with
working double time to ensure that they get the help that they need.
Because when you look at a teenager here now, what does he do to earn money? Now, by the time you put in this and you don't get the result you want, or maybe you heard somebody want something, you always want to invest in it. Where are you getting the money you're going to, and that might lead to stealing. And it starts from home. So parents need to be cautious to watch their words when we talk about this.
If I can quickly mention, students, I've had instances where, you as a parent, you give your child tuition, especially in tertiary institutions. He goes there and then somehow falls into this trap of gambling. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't have the tuition. You as a parent have given him. So that's an area that we need to really look at closely. It's real, it's happening. I've handled so many cases like that.
That's interesting there.
And in our days, some level of gambling used to be weekly, but now it's every minute.
I mean, it's on smartphones.
We were looking,
honestly.
Everything is going digital.
In those days, we were looking forward to Saturdays so that you do the normal pool.
But now it's beyond that. People are addicted.
All right, let me take one more story from here. Media landscape rife with fake news. Says the Minister of Information. Details of that on page 7. Now to the last paper I have with me this morning. That is This Day. We start with story just above the masthead. Cardoso, foreign capital inflows rise by 70% to $20.98 billion in October. Goodluck Jonathan, Guinea-Bissau's ousted president, Embalo, masterminded ceremonial coup. That's an interesting take there. Details of that can be found on page 5. A federal court issues orders restraining police from Draw Cox, Abuja and Lagos properties, including Nestworld Tower. Details of all this can be found within the paper. So that's much we can take from the papers. We go straight to sports.
Yes.
Okay.
And Samuel Godwin is talking with Samuel Amodu, the Director of Communications in the Nigerian Female Football League. What have our darling Super Falcons done this time? They always get it right?
But let's concentrate on the league.
Godwin, take it away.
Indeed, God bless Nigeria. Okay, so I'm going to read this message quickly. It said, I'm watching your show and it's very nice. So please talk to me talk to me back on the TV. You see, that's why we say call, right? Tell us your name, because I would have been calling your name and talking right back at you. That's what I'm good at. But there's no name, so, I mean. Anyway, we appreciate your messages. We are here because of you, and we love you. So we're at the end of our show. I will start with Dr. Quickly give a word of advice on what Nigerians should look out for, and maybe quickly speak to the fact that it's Ember Month and crimes are right. Just a word of advice. But Doctor said, patience. I say a word of advice. A word of advice.
Earlier on, I spoke about the 3 A's.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should kind of write that somewhere. Awareness leads to anticipation and then leads to action. Before you do any activity, ask yourself, what is the likely security risk? And then what do you do to reduce that risk? Simple.
Okay. Mr. Wham. Mr. Wham.
For me, safety is a matter of consciousness. We should be very conscious at any point in time. For us as a union, like I'm representing the national president, MC Olomo, on this program, for us as a union, in fact, this week we are having a meeting for the festive period.
Okay.
We are going round, we are enlightening our people, and we hope it's getting better, because it's getting better for sure. We are doing our best to get it right.
Absolutely.
It takes a village, right? When you see something, say something.
Say something. We are all in it together. And we must celebrate Ember in good health, and in with our families by God's grace.
Amen.
We must all look out for each other.
Amen.
All right, so music. Let's do some dancing. Shake this body and get jiggy. Let's get jiggy.